Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what I think are the best weapons and troops to craft from there this week. Also going to take a look at this weekly glory troop, the Weir Snake. Let's take a look. Does magic plus 3 damage to 2 random enemies and poisons them. And there's a 30% chance to transform into a Basilisk. A Basilisk is a pretty decent troop that can deliver a heck of a lot of damage to a troop. That's actually pretty good, not bad. Traits are Allied Naga gain 2 life, 50% chance to convert a purple gem to a lycanthropy gem at the start of my turn, and is impervious, immune to all status effects, devour, lycanthropy, and mana burn. Not bad, but still a little bit specialist. It's not usable in all teams, it's alright. Obviously the poison can be good with certain troops that can kill somebody when they're poisoned. So yeah, not bad, but not awesome either, but I'm going to give that a reasonably solid 6 out of 10. Give her the benefit of the doubt there. Alright, let's take a look at this. Let's grab this to... Nope, not that much. Get it to mythic level if you can. Always good to have another troop in your roster on full power. As good as they can be. Right, let's... what should we do? Let's grab the resources. Spoils of war. Do like to get them as well. Right, but be wary of this though, this weapon cache. They've done this last week as well, and I still think it's a little bit naughty, because some people may sit there and go, I haven't got that, that's a cool new weapon. I'll go and get that, and pay for it. It might be £4, something like that in my money, but it's the same weapon that is in the Soulforge. Well, not in the Soulforge, in the event. You pick up for a few gems. Exactly the same, Serpent's Tooth, just tier 3 for, what, 150, 220, so 250 gems, and you get it. And you're going to play this event anyway and probably go to tier 3 at least. So yeah, I'm not understanding this strategy they've had the last couple of weeks of sticking a paid for weapon on the front, which to try and tempt people with a timer on it, like, oh, it's going to run out soon, quick, get it now. When basically you can pick it up from the event shop. Strange. But yeah, just letting you know, don't go buying it from there, absolutely no need. Right, let's take a look at the weapons then. As always, not going to go over all these ones that are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link to that in the description below. First up we have Cobra's Curse. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by Naga allies. Then create a mix of 6 red and green gems for each Naga ally. This is one of those weapons which is actually quite rare. I think there was one last week as well. It's not very often you get these weapons which actually generate the mana colour which it uses. This uses green and brown, generates red and green, so it can actually self-charge and do it again. And in a full team of Nagas, there's a very high chance that it can do that. So very, very good indeed, that one. One of those rare ones that can do that. So very good start there. Medusa Tome. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Mist of Scales allies. Then create a mix of 6 blue and red gems for each Mist of Scales ally. Allies uses green and yellow, generates red and blue, so make sure you got at least a couple of red and blue troops in your team from the Mist of Scales to benefit from all that lovely mana. A Dagger of Scales, kind of the anti-Mist of Scales weapon in a way. Remove all green gems, which is the colour they generally like the most. Then deal magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by the amount of gems removed. If the enemy is from Mist of Scales, or if the battle is in Mist of Scales, deal double damage. So yeah, quite situational, but can be good. So it's these kind of weapons, which are the ones which I say get anyway. They're very cheap to craft. Just 75 diamonds in this case, even if you don't think you're going to use it. And the reason is, you're going to get to a point in the game where you need a certain amount of weapons from a particular kingdom to basically progress that kingdom. And this is a very good way of getting a nice cheap weapon, which is going to help you do that. Next up, Scale Guard Protector. Let's take a look at this one. Explode magic plus 1 red gems. Grant a random status effect to all Naga allies. Then summon a Naga troop. So a nice explodey summony weapon there. Do like them. Wand of Stars. Wand of Stars is here all the time, but it's not in my Soulforge extra video because that video came out before the Wand of Stars existed. But a absolutely fantastic weapon, the best weapon in the game. If you've got enough resources, just craft it. It's a fantastic mana generator, and has the benefit of bless all or curse all enemies at the same time. Absolutely superb stuff. Medusa's Ring. Does true damage to an enemy based on your magic, boosted by stone blocks. Then create 4 stone blocks. So the more you cast it, the more damage it does, because the damage is going to get boosted by the more stone blocks on the board, which also obviously messes up the way the mana is collected, because you can't actually match stone blocks. They have to be destroyed. So if an enemy's got no way of destroying stone blocks, you can actually get this thing powered up really high. And it does have stuff like enchanting and stunned. Enchanting means it's going to get enchanted when you cast it, so it can get ready to cast again really quickly. And stunned will stun the first troop when you cast it as well. So very specialist, but kind of okay in its own weird kind of way. Mirror Shield gains magic +1 armor and reflect. If I already have reflect, give reflect to all other allies. So again, pretty specialist. Does have curing as well, shielding. Some cool upgrades there as well. Not bad, not bad. Doomed Loop. Gives 2 magic to all allies +1 per tempering level. So it can give a lot more magic, but it then gives magic +2 armor to green allies, and if the enemy has a doom, gain 10 attack. So again, quite specialist. Gaining armor isn't the best thing in the world all the time. Depends upon the team, I suppose. And the magic is alright, but yeah, it's not one of the essential ones for me, that. Not by a long shot. And what else we got? Serpent's Tooth. Yeah, don't craft it from here. Don't buy it for money on the front page thing on the world map. Get it from the Journey event shop. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by brown allies and Naga allies. So, basic weapon, basic damage dealer. But the more brown allies you got and the more Naga allies, then the more damage you're going to do. But yeah, get it from the event shop. Right, now on to the troops. If you're a newer player, have a little look-see through all of these different summoning stones, see if there's anybody in there which you are missing from your roster. And if so, then maybe crack open a few and see if you get lucky. Just have a little check through them and see if there's anybody there who you are missing. Right, let's take a look at these. Let's start at the bottom, work our way up. Start with the mythics first. Who we got first? Kalika. Not as bad as some people think. Like, she does what looks like a low amount of damage to 4 random enemies, boosted by elemental stars. So the damage is boosted by the amount of elemental stars which are on the screen, and she gives all elemental allies 2 life. Does reduce damage from spells by 25%, and Rising Star is kind of underrated. 50% chance to create an elemental star at the start of my turn. The thing is with that damage is it's damage to 4 random enemies. And with things like damage to wall troops, which is very good, that can actually get blocked quite easily by being submerged, so it stops that damage to all. With this 4 random enemies damage, it will hit anybody, even if they're submerged, so it's got an advantage that way. Disadvantage is you don't know who you're going to hit. She just waves her arms around, just bashing anybody, basically. But the cool thing about her is, if you have 2 or 3 of her in a team, there's a very high chance you're going to get a couple of elemental stars at the start of your turn, and possibly self-charge whichever troop is on top, or even herself, really, really quickly. She's a lot of fun like that, but not essential by a long stretch, but actually not as bad as she at first seems, I don't think. The Scourge of Honor. Ooh, very strong mythic. Does some magic-based true damage to all enemies. Gains 2 mana back for each cursed or diseased enemy. So a really good amount of true damage to all enemies. But the cool thing is that Rat Swarm. Curse and disease a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Does explode a green gem at the start of battle as well, so that's like a one-off thing. And is immune to disease and lycanthropy. But going back to that Rat Swarm, if you get a lot of 4 matches, and you get the whole enemy cursed and diseased, when you cast that, you get 2 mana back for each cursed or diseased enemy. So you can get most of his mana back straight away, if that is the case, and get ready to do it again. Really, really good. Flame of Anu. Does magic-based damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by burning and fairy-fired enemies. And it's a ×5 ratio. It is quite easy to get the burning and fairy fire going a lot of the time, but again, it's not a terrific amount of damage. But it does have Flaming Mane. Burn and Fairy Fire a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems can certainly help out with that spell. And it does have Immune to Burning and Fairy Fire itself. So you can set a team up basically ready to inflict loads of Fairy Fire and burn on the enemy, knowing he's actually immune to that himself. But yeah, still not that great for me. Tian Yi. Heavy splash damage based on your magic to an enemy. Stun all affected enemies and deal double damage if my attack is greater. Then summon 1 to 3 monkey disciples. Traits are halve enemy gem masteries, and a 20% chance to dodge skull damage is okay, and steal 2 magic from the first enemy at the start of my turn. So yeah, it's like, I like that monkey magic. With a couple of these in the team, you actually end up stealing 4 magic from the first enemy at the start of my turn, which boosts up its own magic, which means that that heavy splash damage goes up and up and up. So yeah, not brilliant, but not absolutely diabolical either. And that is it for the mythics. Let's take a look at the legendaries now ever so quickly. We have Orion. Does a low amount of damage to an enemy and hunters mark them and gain 5 magic. It's not that great for a legendary, I don't think, but it does have true shot, 75% chance to ignore armor with skull damage. So you have to have him on top to benefit from that. But yeah, it's like pretty weak for a mythic, for a legendary, I think. Behemoth. This is actually pretty decent still. Does a good amount of damage to all enemies and destroys 12 gems. So a decent amount of damage and some mana gen at the same time, as well as being impervious and has immense. Gain 10 life on 4 or 5 gem matches. Queen Grapple Pot. She grapples with her pot and sees what she comes up with. Does damage to all enemies, boosted by ally and enemy goblins, and gains an extra turn. So an okay amount of damage, but is boosted by all goblins in your team and the enemy team, which is actually pretty cool, because you're typically going to have a full team of goblins anyway, and when you're fighting a team of goblins, then that's actually a nice boost in that power, and it gets the standard goblin extra turn. But that second helping is actually pretty decent too. All allied goblins gain 5 life on 4 or 5 gem matches. A lot of goblin teams are going to be based around teams like King Gobtruffle and Lupin, and just getting non-stop turns and 4 matches all over the place. And yeah, that second helping can really help. So pretty decent. Who else do we have? Smashed Mouth. He got smashed in the mouth and he's not happy about it, but that's the way it goes. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy, knocks them to the back, then drains 7 mana from all enemies below them and gains an extra turn. Pretty okay. Broken Jaw. Bleed and silence the first enemy when I deal skull damage. So yeah, is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So yes, that is it for the Soulforge. Who gets my mythic of the week? Well, it's not going to be Flame of Arnu, no chance. Well, I think you can only go to 1 troop here that is clearly head and shoulders for me above the rest of them. That is the very excellent, the Scourge of Honor. Lots of true damage, really good way that does that rat swarm, curse and disease a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems, which basically means it'll get most of its mana back when you cast it and get ready to do it all over again. So the Scourge of Honor, my mythic of the week, really good. Absolutely love that troop. Very powerful in the right team. But there's a video. If you enjoyed it, found it useful or helpful, be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. And maybe even share the video amongst your fellow Gems of War players and things like that. It's that kind of sharing which really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.